Hello everyone and welcome. Thank you very much for your patience. This is the summer season Friday tier round 7 out of 8. The penultimate time. Not a sprint race this time. Sprint race will be in the final race though. We are currently on board with your championship leader for the Friday tier, and it's not Nifo, it is Zingy for the Friday tier. Saturday tier, the leader is Nifo. Of course, with a brilliant drive so far this season. Nifo's missed a few races, but still holding strongly to a P2. And Heischler looking very quick last weekend with the pole position in both sprint and main race, looking to try and do a similar thing today if they can. Zingy goes into the pit lane for one final time. That is Frantic having a bit of an issue, unfortunately. During the session, we have had Zora DNF earlier on off camera, but everybody else will get a final run very, very shortly. Frantic putting lots of laps in on this one tyre and hoping to get one more in, and it's a short circuit, as you can see, a 109, 108 ideally, so these guys will get plenty of opportunities to set laps. And you might get that in the pit lane during the race, so that is something to watch out for right there, as Frantic has definitely learnt his lesson before it's too late, which is brilliant, because then you're probably not going to make that similar mistake or same mistake in the race. We are running a 25% distance race today just because of the numbers, to try and make it a little bit more kind of compact and intense, but hopefully we can go back to normal ways in the future. Ideally, well, not ideally, definitely for the official season, which has been just released, so make sure you get yourself registered if you haven't already. Now, we're just waiting for the final runs in qualifying, 2 minutes 30. We can expect to see people come out around about now, but whether they're really going to want to try and have like enough time to do 2 laps, and well, they would have to come out right about now, but most of the time these drivers won't want to do 2 laps. They're just going to want to do one more lap, and then we'll see how it goes from here. So they're going to probably leave it until the 2-minute mark exactly. That is Tom Brainer on their way out. That is also a Mercedes, no, it's an Alpine of Heischler on their way out. At the 2-minute mark, you can then see one Mercedes leave the pit lane. I assume we'll see another Mercedes in a few moments' time. But that is Tom Rob on track. First of all, to set their final time in the session, driving the Red Bull this season in the summer season. They are a Ferrari fan. They did drive the Red Bull to be teammates with Devon Young, but obviously that didn't quite work out, unfortunately. Oh well. Tom Brainer has still got some good experience in this game, ready for the official seasons, and whatever team he'll be in next season, I'm sure he'll do absolutely splendidly. Now, Heischler currently the only driver to do an 8-point lap time. They're going to see if they can maybe improve on that. I think it would be very possible for them to do so. It is only a very small margin, just over a tenth between Zingy and Heischler at the moment, but still, that advantage of already having that lap set is just so big. Now, Tom Brainer starts their final lap of the session, turns on the battery as they go through the bank corner, and it's going to be an interesting one for battery. Notoriously, this circuit is known for basically draining your entire battery, but this time around in the F1 24 game, it's not so much the case. A big loss of traction there for Tom on the exit of the first corner, up the hill and then down the hill again, going nice and tight ideally to the inside line and get the traction down as best as you can in third, fourth gear, whatever you're going to be in. And then we don't want to be lifting or braking through the right-hander here, just a downshift into 6th, but they stay in 7th, which can be possible as well. Then down into 6th, maybe a tap of the brakes if you're not brave enough to go full pelt, and we go through the kind of S section almost, which is incredibly difficult to get right on the traction, as Tom has just gone over, unfortunately, and that is going to be a big spin, and their qualifying finish. Heischler's got through cleanly, and we'll see see what they can do. Tom Robb retires. Hopefully that car doesn't get in the way of any others as we go through the final sector now of Heichler, who just went purple in that middle sector. 8.9. What can they do to improve on this one? Final corner, bottoming out of the bank section. You've just got to try and bear it and get through. Hold it to the right hand side. Across the line, what's it going to be for the Alpine driver? It's going to be a 0.8. Will anybody be able to compete? Niffo crosses the line. It's going to be a pole position for Niffo. An 8.750. Frantic will come across the line. Where are they going to be put for this race? They jump Zingy. Will Zingy get a lap in? They will not. Zingy starts in P4 after invalidating the final run. And that is Nifojan taking pole position. Pole position for Niffo. Heister in P2. That is perfect indeed. Very well done from those two to set them those improvements, but Niffo got the edge in the end and starts on the front row, which is crucial around a circuit like this. Lots of corners and lots of difficult overtaking opportunities, which means it's easier to defend and stay ahead in turn. Hopefully we can get the results on screen, but it looks like we're going to have the same bug as before and we won't get the final results. Other than, well, it doesn't really matter too much because we already seen it, but it is what it is. If we don't get to see the results, we'll see you in a bit for the race. If we do, then we'll have a look. There you go, on screen right now. Ready, hold. Who's going to get it into turn one? We are away, and Niffo gets the perfect start, and they will run into the first corner uncontested. It's going to be 3 wide, and that's going to be Heichler down. What a shame. I don't know what was the plan right there. It's Frantic and Zingy going side by side. Well, Frantic was on the outside, Heichler's on the middle, and just had to basically take it. I think if I'm correct in saying Heichler down the order already, and they've got a big gap to try and catch up. What a shame this early on in the Grand Prix. Niffo got away very, very cleanly and had no problems at all. Frantic and Zingy, I'll be honest, they are very lucky to be in their position. And we've got Tom Robb who sat behind all of that and just tried to hope that nothing happened to them if they didn't catch anybody. Collect anybody, I should say. But yeah, that is such a shame. I don't think, Heichler does have damage, unfortunately. Might have hit the wall, unless it was just on another car. It's very possible. But that is really rotten luck right there this early on in the Grand Prix. And yeah, I hope that they can get a repair and then maybe something is able to bring them back into the race. But yeah, that early on is very tragic. And we see Zingy already pressing Frantic to go for a move, and they're going to look to the inside line. Frantic, are they going to contest it? They go nice and wide to see if they can maybe get the traction, the switch back, but no, that is going to be Zingy through. Frantic's going to have a look somewhere else. does seem to be lag on our side, so I do apologise for that. Hopefully the other drivers aren't really too badly affected, but we'll have to speak to them later and see if anything will change. Now, Nifo leads the way by a second at the moment. If they can break that, then Zingy won't get DRS and Frantic will, and right now it looks like Nifo's done enough to hold it, and it means that, well, it's going to be that Zingy and Nifo are going to be on equal pace right now, equal playing fields. With DRS, of course, Frantic's going to be able to save a little bit right here, but it won't be too much of a difference. We're going to have a quick look at the detail. The tyres, it's going to be a medium, soft, medium, whatever tyre you're on. Tom Robb on the medium. He's going to be looking to try and make a little bit of a comeback later on. The others have gone for that soft tyre to try and just kind of make it work, make that aggressive start. That is incredible lag right there. I've never seen that before. I just wanted to double check that Husher does have a repaired front wing, so that is good to see, and hopefully that they can get some good laps in regardless and take some use of this. That is a big loss of a front end right there from Nifo if that wasn't lag, so they are struggling a little bit on that side. Zingy did get DRS right there, so they will have got DRS. No, sorry, they did get a DRS on the main straight, so they will have had a massive help to catch up. That is now 6 to 7 tenths that we're seeing. Nifo has made a mistake right there, and that is going to not be ideal for their race. It doesn't go to 5 tenths, so they've managed to ride the outside curb so much, but still get away with it. Unless I'm just seeing things, that is a strange sight to see right there. DRS available for Zingy once again, and it will be available very soon again. Frantic getting dragged along by Zingy to try and catch back up to Nifo, as both of these guys did drop a little bit from the start. Nifo just having that perfect start, wasn't side by side, didn't lose any time to anyone else, and could relax on their merry way. And maybe they can try and take a win over their teammate in the Friday tier, as they've done so a few times, but in the actual Mercedes livery car, I don't think Nifo's crossed the line first. It's always been in a multiplayer livery car, in this tier at least. So they're going to try and get their first team car victory, which would be awesome to see. Sure, it's 18 laps, but it's still a race, and everybody knows the situation and will take it that way, race accordingly. That is a very early call to the hard tyre for Tom Robb, which is an interesting choice. Don't know if they maybe had damage and they had to go for that early pit stop, but yeah, I'd have expected them to be able to make it all the way on a medium tyre, although that being said, they started on the medium tyre, so that's why they've gone for that hard tyre and hope that they can get back on this. With the damage, that is the amount of time that Heischler lost. Of course, they've had a bit of a undercut on Tom, but with the damage, with the spin, they've just lost even more time. It was about 9 seconds of the spin, so the damage has changed it a lot more. That is a switch up between Nifo and Zingy right there. Zingy leads for the first time this evening, and DRS will be available to Nifo now, and they're going to be looking to try and save a little bit of energy. And Frantic will once again, as we saw on Friday, be hunting down the top two and just sat right behind watching these guys, kind of relaxing a little bit, but just keeping the pressure on. And it's not going to be easy. Saturday tier, exactly the same thing as in the sprint race. Nifo and Zingy had to basically work together to not let this driver through in the Haas car as well. They are a reserve driver, but just happens to be driving the Haas once again here in Zandvoort, the home Grand Prix of Nifajan and Heischler 2. Zingy, will they try and hold on to this lead, or are they going to go for the move? Nifajan, they do go for the move, does Nifo. Now, Frantic can't do anything about it. The DRS train is too immense, and they're just going to have to sit behind and watch on as the other cars overtake. Once again, just scrubbing those tyres into the corner right there, just trying to get that turn in. It must just be an F124 game thing, handling thing, not actually a lag thing, I assume. It could be possible. Anyway, in that middle sector, Niffa is very, very strong right there, gaining 5 tenths immediately. If we just look on board with Zingy right now, sure, it doesn't look too far away now, but they've just gained a few tenths in these corners. But before, that was a 6-tenth gap immediately, which is very, very impressive right there from the Dutchman. Zingy's going to get a DRS and going to be looking to make an overtake once again on that car ahead of him. And Frantic maybe could have a look at making a move as we get closer to the pit stop window. But they're just sat behind now watching these two race. DRS available, Zingy catches up. And they're actually going to have to slow down, it looks like, Niffo. That is going to be Frantic into the pit lane to go for a bit of an undercut. A cheeky undercut could work nicely. It does mean that the other two have to react. They can either react or just go for a severe overcut, and maybe that can work. But countless times these two, they've been in very, very competitive positions, and they've still decided, or they still had issues with pit stops. And I think that's exactly why Zingy has overtaken Niffo on this lap, because now he can react to Frantic and not have any consequences. And ideally, you don't want to be on a set of soft tyres going longer. You want to be going on a medium tyre for longer, and then on a softer tyre later on. But it's the situation that they're in right now, and they're going to have to just try and think about that. And yeah, Zingy is going to be probably going into the pit lane to just make sure he covers off Frantic. Whether they will do that, though, we'll find out in a matter of seconds. Do they pull to the right-hand side to react to Frantic? They don't. Niffo does, and Zingy will continue. Let's see how that goes. We're going to watch on board with Frantic now and see where Niffo comes out. He should come out a little bit behind. Zingy is going to probably pit on the next lap, so a lap later. Frantic, final corner, will not get the DRS from the Williams car, who continues, and Niffo is already leaving the pit lane. It's going to be almost side by side for them with Zora. Zora does jump out in front, and it's not really an undercut right there from Frantic. So either Frantic has had an issue, or those cold tyres are pretty significant around this circuit. That is Niffo, who is having a bit of trouble catching up or getting past Zora, who goes to the left-hand side. Niffo just about communicated and was able to decide which way to go, and now those cold tyres, can they get them fired up? That was a bit of time lost. Zingy's gonna have to take this opportunity to go into the pit lane, because they could come out in the lead, and not only in the lead, but possibly, quite possibly, in the lead by some margin. And that is going to be, I think there's a bit of lag between these guys, because that is once again contact in the rear of Zora, who is just maybe not there for these guys, and that is an interesting one. Unfortunately, that does look like Zora has damage. It is damage, not damage for Frantic, but loss of time for Frantic. Zora does get that damage. Frantic wiggles, as I'm not really entirely sure what these guys can see, because it does seem to be like there is a lot of lag. It's going to be Zora into the pit lane and going for a set of medium tyres and hopefully wing repair. Unfortunately, speeding into the pit lane as they had that damage situation. Now, Zingy leaves the pit lane 1.5 seconds ahead. It's a similar story to Niffo and Frantic, to be honest. I think the undercut isn't actually that powerful. The overcut can be. But, of course, Niffo did lose a little bit of time as they came out behind the Williams on a different strategy. Still in the race, but on a different strategy. And Zingy now leads by a nice margin. That medium tyre on the Dutchman's car will be warm, but on the other car it shouldn't be, but it still seems to be working quite nicely. 0.7 seconds as they try and catch a little bit more. They have been rapid all weekend so far. I think they can catch it. It's just going to take a lot of effort, and they're going to have to hope that Zingy has some sort of issue. Frantic 2.6 seconds. Absolutely tragic right there to have their issues. But I really think that just that undercut just didn't work as people expected. It would make sense for an overcut to work, but it didn't. That is going to be a safety car, as Zora has an issue on the exit of the double right-hander. Easy place to make a mistake. It will be a full safety car that is deployed. It's going to be straight back on to a set of soft tyres. So everybody's going to be on equal playing fields. There shouldn't be any changes in the order for pit stops, however. I think we should be all in a very similar situation right now because the soft tyres... because the leaders passed the safety car already. Heischler is taking this opportunity to go once again as Tom Rob's pitted immediately. So Heischler's still going to end up behind Tom Rob eventually, but Heischler's just looking for one lap fresher tyres, which is very well spotted, very good focus right there from Heischler. Despite not being in the race, they still keep that good focus and put their mindset in the race, and they can get back in it, and they definitely can now with a few laps to go. This is why you should never give up, and they can get a very good result right here. All Dutchmen back into the race. Everyone's back into the race. Zingy is going to be making that pit stop, and unfortunately for him, after that brilliant pit stop masterclass right there and getting that pit window perfect, they won't be able to get an advantage, and I am slightly confused at why there hasn't been a double stack right here. Nifo doesn't go into the pit lane and opts to instead go and out and continue on this tyre, which is now on 3-lap-old tyres. But not on the softs, whereas everybody else is going to, I was going to say, is going to be on the softs. Tom Rob is on the softs. I think Heisch's waited a lap later to go on that soft tyre. Zingy and Frantic have actually pitted again for a set of mediums. So that's an interesting one. Heisch's actually got slightly old softs. They've already got one lap on these. They're hoping that they don't get overheating, whereas the medium tyre runners are really hoping that they, like, can avoid that and their pace will still be enough. Now, that's a interesting call. 3-lap difference, of course, because Nifo will be on that slightly older tyre. Would it be a significant disadvantage or not? I don't quite know. It is a 25% distance race, and usually 25% distance races have slightly increased tyre wear compared to 35 and 50%, even 100, definitely 100. Now, will that mean that there is a big pace difference, or there'll definitely be a sooner drop-off for Nifo, if at all? It could be crucial later on, but they have track position. It's what they had since the start, of course, of qualifying. It might be good enough around a circuit like this, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Maybe the Silver Arrows will try and break away from the pack and then have their own battle to the end. That would be an ideal world, but they do have Frantic behind them, who was quick when they were in DRS, of course, and we do have 2 soft tyre runners, 3 soft tyre runners, I'm mistaken, who are going to be making their way around the circuit and catching up to the pack. When will we be racing once again? I'm not entirely sure. Zora is on the main straight right now, so they'll be making some good progress on everybody else. And then we will be going racing within maybe this lap, actually, which would be great to see. Alright, I think we're going to be doing one more lap at least. We will go through the order. Nifo on 4-lap-old medium tyres, Zingy on mediums as well as Frantic. Then we've got Tom Rob and Heischler with Zora also on those 2-lap-old softs. We've got a very early call-in, as Zora's not quite caught up, but we've been under the safety car for quite a few laps, so the safety car's decided, you know what, I'm going to go in. Zora's still trying to catch up. They're not too far away. Zingy, is he going to, or Nifo, sorry, I should say, is he going to go early, or is he going to wait a little bit? They lead the way for the safety car. The safety car is going through the final corner right now. They've still got some time to go. Zora will catch up and be able to be back in this race. So lucky for them, they've made it to the pack, and they've already gone for it. Has Nifo. keeping up the revs, and they will lead the way. But will it be into the first corner? Will Zingy try and challenge into turn one? They pull to the inside, and it's instead a defensive throw right there from Frantic, who's trying to make a move, but they will not be able to get there as Zingy is able to work together with her teammate. Will we get any dives on the inside? It is going to be very close between Heischler and Tom Rob. Tom Rob all over the place on the exit as they go up the hill. Heischler's going to get a good run because of that, but they won't have an opportunity to make an overtake just yet. But they had a quick look just to quickly spot their racing line, and they will have to hold off for now. But these soft tyres are incredibly fast. Heischler dives to the inside line. It's almost contact between the two. Well avoided right there. It's incredibly close between these drivers. Heischler's not happy as they drop back and are trying to recoup themselves, ready to go once again. Nifo leads the way. Zingy is going to be first to get DRS, not on this lap or on the next lap, but not on the main straight. It will be on the little straight on the next lap, and then we'll get some serious overtaking opportunities. Now, Zingy, once again, has to try and decide, are they going to go for the overtake on their teammate if they have the speed, or are they going to defend? It looks like it's going to be Tom Rob, who is getting very racy, and they're going to dive to the inside line. Frantic actually leaves the space, but Tom Rob doesn't need to, and he's clipped the inside wall with his rear tyre. I've never seen that ever before happen, and unfortunately, they're going to drop out the pack immediately, and this late on into the Grand Prix, their hopes for a race win are pretty slim. P6, still good points, but that is absolutely devastating right there. Heischler gets a free position, and now they are the lead soft tyre runner, looking to try and catch up to these medium tyre runners, and we've got Nifo still leading the way. DRS will kick in right about now. Zingy opens that DRS, and they are going to get an advantage. It won't be enough to actually make a move from this distance, but Heischler is going to be right there and ready to go for sure, and we'll watch on board with this man as he's got 3 cars ahead of him and only a few laps left of this Grand Prix. They'll cross the line to make it 4 laps left of the race. That is Frantic saving on ERS. That is going to be Nifo still leading the way, with Heischler making it a fastest lap for themselves, and they will quite possibly hold on to that fastest lap, which will be a good point. Tom Rob might be able to go for an extra set of soft tyres if the situation calls it as they go into the pit lane. And now we will see. They're all kind of waiting at the moment, and in a train, Frantic and Heischler are in such a difficult position. Already 5-lap-old soft tyres right now, and those tyres aren't actually looking as quick as they were. They did that fastest lap, and now it's 6/10 difference. They're not all over the back of the other cars. I think what Zingy's trying to do is help his teammate out, stay behind, just let Nifo be in the lead, and then when it matters most, he's then probably going to try and go for the lead of the Grand Prix, and yeah, hope that his teammate doesn't get overtaken as well. So he's kind of a bit of a rear gunner at the moment. With the tyre difference, of course, Frantic is pretty quick, although they are over track limits right there and very, very close. But other than that, I don't think they're going to be having an opportunity to make a move as they all bunch up incredibly close. Frantic was catching to the back of Zingy. Zingy didn't want to go for a move on Nifo right here. We've only got a few laps remaining of this Grand Prix, and Heischler, well, they've got to try and make a decision here. Zora, unfortunately, losing out to these guys who are in a very, very fast slipstream train at the moment. We've got Tom Rob, who is going for that final fastest lap attempt. And they will get 2 laps to do it, but they saved their battery, so this will probably be the run that they'll give it a shot on. Nifo still leads the way. We'll get another mini DRS straight. This battle is incredibly close. It's going to be within a second from P1 to P4. It is almost within a second. That's how close it is with these guys right now. Nifo still leads the way, and Zingy is doing all they can to try and help their teammate out right here with that tyre advantage again. that tyre advantage will be enough. It will be significant in the 25% distance race. Frantic's trying to push. Heischler catches up massively. Heischler might be able to make a move right here. Definitely Zingy is going to be challenged, so Frantic has to do something. They're going to go for the overtake. They're going to go to the outside line as Zingy goes to the inside. It was very, very close. A switchback maneuver might be available, but no, they're going to have to try and look for something up the hill instead. Looked like they could have had a think around the outside, but not quite. Maybe if they were able to save ERS later on onto the final lap of the Grand Prix, they might be able to get an overtake down this little straight. It would be incredibly complicated, incredibly brave, but it would possibly get the job done. They've got one or half a lap to try and save the battery, so they get one more overtaking opportunity, one more attacking opportunity. Will Zingy go for a move on his teammate into the first corner? He doesn't really have the luxury, because looking at that previous lap, Frantic is catching up at an incredible rate. So if Zingy's having to go defensive without DRS, definitely we could see Niffer having to go defensive. Now, will they go for it? I think Zingy's going to try and do it for the championship as they're using that ERS, the DRS. They're going to get a massive tow down that straight. Niffo saves on the ERS. They go to the first corner. Zingy leads the Dutch Grand Prix. Frantic is going to get an opportunity right here. As we expected, Zingy takes it on the last lap. Will Niffo be able to hold on ahead of the Haas driver on the fresher tyres? Up the hill they go. The traction will not be enough. The ERS will be king, and it will be enough right now at least for Niffer to hold on. They've still got a middle sector to go to try and make this work. A 1-2 for Mercedes, it will continue. It's not what he wants. He wants the win, but a P2 is going to be very good. DRS is actually going to be available for one final time. Will it be possible for Niffo to go for a move in the final stages of the Grand Prix? They'll catch up a little bit here. Zingy saving on the battery. It will not be an opportunity for Frantic to go for a move. DRS will be available for Niffo all the way up to the line, and they might actually get a move as they did all those races ago in the NA tier. DRS right there. ERS is being used. Zingy's not got anything left. Is it going to be a move up to the line? He dives to the right hand side, and that was very, very cheeky. 0.034 seconds. Niffo's not going to be happy with his teammate right there. Zingy tried to make a late dart to the right hand side, and he just about holds on. I think he would have probably held on anyway, but that doesn't add a good scent to that battle in the end right there. Anyway, Zingy takes a very, very well deserved P1 after an incredibly hard fought race, as they tried to do all they could to help their teammate get that P2. Obviously, they tried to attack later on and gave it their best shot, but a brilliant pit stop scenario that was ruined by a safety car call-out. They've managed to hold on. Unfortunately, we won't see... we didn't get to see this battle right here, but that was incredibly close from Heister as well. But yeah, that is the Grand Prix finished. I'm sure we'll be able to see a replay on Heister's POV, because that would have been awesome to see as well. That is going to be the Dutch Grand Prix for the Friday tier. Done and dusted. It will be Zingy taking the victory. Niffo in P2. We've got Frantic in P3, then Heister, Tom Robb with the fastest lap, and Zora in 6th place right there, DNFing on that final lap, but does still get classed as finished. That's the race director. We'll be back for the post-race interviews. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome to the post-race interviews of the Dutch Grand Prix. That one is done and dusted and it was very, very close. Nivot gave me a bit of a deja vu situation in many ways, not only pit lane exit but also the final straight, of course. Can you take us through your race?
Yeah, that was a trip down memory lane, I think. I mean, I think quality was good. I think the lap could have been a lot better, but it was what it was. It was poor, I guess, so I took it. I think the start was okay. I think the first whole stint was okay, and then with the pit stop, I think I made a good stop, and I was on the limit on the pit entry, and turn-in was okay. So I felt like, oh well, this is good, and got ahead of Frantic. So I was like, well, I'm actually undercut Singy here, and then I got flashbacks between another race we had here with Dave Raptors, but no, it was Zora. I got completely I don't know. You shouldn't call it blocking, but it is basically what happened. I lost a lot of time there. Then the safety car came out by someone. I don't know who it was, but safety car came out. I just decided to stay out. Had the oldest tires, and then from there on, it was just trying to stay ahead with Singy. He overtook me last lap. Tried to overtake him on the last lap. Just didn't have enough ERS, and was just a little bit too far away. So didn't get it in the end. But it was a fun race overall.
Yeah, very well said. It's Zandvoort seems to be, although it kind of has a recipe for not being easy to overtake, it seems to create some very good racing. Thank you very much for some great entertainment. It's a shame it didn't go your way in the end, but you gave it your best shot. Do you think if maybe things were a bit different on pit exit and you didn't get kind of blocked by a car on a different strategy, you would have been in the lead?
I would like to think so. I do think so because I think when Zingy got ahead, it was 1.5. I think the amount that got blocked was definitely 1.5. So I think it would have been side by side, if not ahead. So
fair enough.
Annoying, but it happens.
Yeah, it happens, and it's part of the strategy. So yeah, sorry to see that. The Brazilian Grand Prix, whether you're there or not, is that a circuit that you like? A sprint race as well? Does that suit you?
I think sprint races overall don't really suit me. It's because I'm not really quick over one lap. But I do like Brazil. But the luck I have experienced there is not the greatest. So.
Fair enough.
Mixed feelings.
I will say good luck, and thank you very much. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Thank you. We move on to Tom Robb. Tom. What a shame. The late safety car brought you back into it, but unfortunately, with that issue at turn 1, it didn't quite work out. Can you take us through your race?
Yeah, it was just bloody awful evening for me. I got trolled by my setup the whole evening, during the practice session earlier today. It felt a bit risky, but controllable. And now I had trouble to keep my contract every second corner. So that wasn't funny at all. So I had 5-second gap after 2 laps to the first 3 guys, which would have been at most 1.5 seconds, maybe even in DRS range. Then just wanted to go on the hards because that was the tire I felt most comfortable during the practice. Even on the hard, it was really terrible. Then the safety car luck, I thought I could attack in the end because I had a completely fresh set of softs from the qualifying left.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in a really good position, and then with my setup, felt like it could get me 1-2 position at least. Then I got trolled by the track with the inside clip. I don't know when it ever happened.
Yeah, I've never seen that happen ever before, but I guess you were just far enough to the inside and the rear wheel got caught. You gave it your best shot, and something I genuinely think that's probably never happened to many people at all. Something that you never expect in a race to get spun out by a wall. I didn't say that very well. That kind of makes sense. To be spun out by a wall hitting you, it's a weird thing, and I'm very, very sorry for that. Brazil is the next circuit. Whether you're there or not, is that a circuit that you like?
I don't know, like, the circuit was alright for me in the last game. I haven't driven it on this year's game, so I don't know. Like, it can be good, but I feel like I'm probably gonna be slower than today in comparison to especially Zingy and Nifl.
Right. Well, you gave it your best shot. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out for reasons that, I mean, like I said, have never really struck people before. So it's very unfortunate. But thank you very much. It was a really good effort today, and we'll see you next time. And we move on to Zingy. Zingy, congratulations. You've taken another victory, and that as an extension in the championship. Can you take us through your race? First of all, qualifying wasn't so easy.
Yeah, the track felt very slow, so I was pushing as a fourth time trial, and I realised there was no grip on the first run, so I had to dial it back. I was 2 tenths up, and then for some reason the car just kind of lost itself. Probably just an issue on my part, but I don't know. But the race was fine. We got a good start up the inside of Hige, and I think it was 3 wide, but I just didn't realise. So obviously Hige just turned in, which I was like, oh, that's a bit interesting. And then on the exit, I realised that Frantic's there. And then I'm assuming it was 3 wide, so I think that's when the contact happened. So I just got off it. Obviously, never had that issue. And yeah, the safety car came out, which was a bit of an issue because obviously I had that gap due to pure skill and no luck at all. And unfortunately, I had to really try those last few laps, but I managed to get it. So
Yeah.
I'm very happy. And if there's a time penalty for myself, I don't blame anyone apart from me. So these things happen. Sometimes I make mistakes. Yeah, I'm not a robot. So
Safety
I
car
do
didn't
apologise to
happen.
everyone.
Safety car didn't happen. Do you think you'd have still won?
Yeah, I think one track anyway. Yeah, I think I had a 10 for 2 off over Niffle. His qualifying pace was great. I think in the race, I've got that extra little bit I can push with, and I mean that was demonstrated. Was it last weekend? Well, I'm asking you, do you know? It was a track, and I was ahead by a second, and
Yeah,
I was hungry.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so
Last weekend.
you see, when I'm out at DRS, I can really push away a bit. Who knows? But Neville had good pace. It was a home race, so maybe he would have tried extra hard. But I mean, if buts and maybes, of course. But at the end of the day, I've won the race, so I'm very happy with that.
Well said, and fair enough. Another victory, as I said. Finale next time around. You've already won the championship today. Are you looking forward to next race, even if you can make it or not? Is it a circuit that suits you well?
Not really. I can be quicker in Brazil and qualifying, but race pace, it's a bit touch and go, all the curbs and stuff like that. I find it quite RNG. But I'll try my best to win again, and I think if me and Niff were up the front once again, then they'll have the best chance possible.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you very much, Zingy. Really well done today. Well said, and we'll see you next time. And we move on to Heischler. Heischler, that was a really, really difficult one, obviously, from turn 1 until lap, I don't know what it was, I can't remember, lap like not 14. Anyway, lap whatever, it was looking like really difficult, but you got brought back into it late on. You didn't seem to have fresh tyres though.
No, I didn't. I opted for the softer tire allocation, so I had 4 softs, 1 medium, 1 hard. Yeah, because I knew it would have been a soft medium, and I wanted 2-3 runs still in quali. So I didn't have any new tires except another hard set which I didn't want to use, and nearly every soft set was only 1 lap use, so it wasn't that big of a issue. But yeah, the start was from my side just really unlucky. I actually didn't do anything wrong. In the moment I was like, was I too cautious or something? But looking back at it, yeah, Frantic misjudged. that there was another driver on his inside, and Singy decided to do a 3 wide on lap 1, which isn't really ideal. But he already kind of tried to apologize when you were talking through him. So yeah, I accept his apologies, and yeah, these things can happen. It's just unlucky for me that it happens to me. Yeah, so far I could tell through the race, my pace was decent. It was not far off the top runners. They were all on softer, so obviously they were quicker, but it wasn't by a lot. And on the softs, when I was behind them, I felt like I actually had the most pace, which is not weird again. It's just the other way around when to the start of the race. And yeah, the safety car of that Sora cost really helped me getting back into it, and in the end helped me to get a P4 still.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think if there wasn't that issue in the first corner, you'd have had maybe a chance at winning? Your pace and quali seem to be pretty good.
I could have got pole as well, definitely. I did a 0.6 like just before the race. And that was up still, so I my quali a bit. So I definitely had to race the pace to win this race as well.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, it's a shame that it didn't go that way. Brazil, whether you're there or not, if you can, well, it's pretty wide into the first corner. There's no like tight inside wall, so I'm sure you can avoid a crash there. Do you think you can do well at Brazil?
Yeah, I definitely do well there. I've already done one race there, and it was against some really quick drivers, and we got with the team a 1-2. So I know I can do well there.
Awesome. I can't wait. Thank you very much, Heisler, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. And we move on to the end of the stream. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We will see you tomorrow for the Dutch Grand Prix for the Saturday tier. Wow, the pronunciations are all over the place. It's very hot. I do apologise, everyone. That has been it. We will see you next weekend for the finale, the Brazilian Grand Prix. Have a good one. Bye-bye.